Sorry, going back
Oh, sorry.
to the did you go live already?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Okay, yeah, no
Um,
worries.
all right. Hello, everyone. We are live, and it is a pleasure to be with you all on this fine Saturday evening. I am here today with Keira Mooney, who is representing the awesome organization Teens for Vaccines. It is very important for young adults and teenagers to get vaccinated, and I'm here with Keira, who helps young people do just that. So, Keira, welcome to the show, and please introduce yourself and tell us what Teens for Vaccines is and how you got involved with them.
Yeah, thank you, David. Hi, everyone. My name is Keira Mooney, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm a 16-year-old high school junior from Massachusetts. I'm very passionate about biology, and because of my love for biology, I'm highly invested in spreading information and helping to combat misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccine. I'm currently the Vice President of Content Strategy and Communications with Teens for Vaccines. Basically, Teens for Vaccines is a youth collective of ambassadors across the US. It was founded in 2019 by Arun Parsa at the height of the measles outbreaks to give teens a platform to get together and educate our peers about the dangers of vaccine hesitancy and how we can protect ourselves and our loved ones by being vaccinated. We especially work with teens of vaccine hesitant and anti vax parents. We also report misinformation that is rampant on social media. We're mobilizing teens nationwide through our ambassadors in many states, such as California, Maryland, North Carolina, Massachusetts, New York, Colorado, and more. We also organize teen vaccine town halls and reach out to school districts. We're also in a relationship with Protect Us, a national organization, and Gen Up, a 4,000 student member national organization for education advocacy. Aside from outreach and education, we fight for legislation for vaccine access, equity, minor consent laws, and school based healthcare. Finally, we also fundraise for vaccines. We accomplish all these goals by campaigning with 200 plus immunization coalitions and global advocates. Teens for Vaccines has been recognized by the United Nations Youth Envoy and national news outlets such as the Wall Street Journal, CNN, NBC, Teen Vogue, and USA Today, among many others. Personally, I got involved when Aaron reached out to me this June. Myself and Aaron were part of the pre-med COVID teen task force with the Boston Leadership Institute together in 2020, and he reached out to see if I was interested in becoming an ambassador for Teens for Vaccines.
Well, thank you very much. And if this is your first time watching my channel, my name is David F. This channel is all about promoting science and debunking bad information. And I am a student at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, studying biochemistry and molecular biology. Unfortunately, I have to withdraw from the remainder of the fall semester due to a personal emergency, but I am hoping to re-enroll in the spring. I am also very passionate about virology, infectious diseases, and so when I first heard about Teens for Vaccines through social media, I was very excited about it and knew that I had to contact them and have them on my podcast. So once again, thank you so much for joining me tonight. So
Yeah,
why? Um,
sorry.
sure. So why is it important for teenagers to get vaccinated?
Well, I just like to start off by saying the COVID vaccine is effective, and the vaccine protects against some of the worst symptoms of getting the virus, and it can prevent you from getting seriously ill from COVID. When you're vaccinated, it gives you peace of mind. You no longer have to worry about getting extremely sick and possibly even passing from COVID. Another benefit getting vaccinated is protecting our loved ones. The elderly, such as our grandparents, the immunocompromised, and newborns are all at risk to get COVID. So, by getting vaccinated, we are protecting them from getting the virus. The vaccine is our best shot to finally get our lives back after a year and a half of staying inside.
All right, so I kind of want to go through some myths versus facts, some concerns that parents might have about vaccines. So let's go through some of these common misinformation and common misconceptions. So myth number one is that the COVID vaccine was rushed.
Yeah, so speed does not equal rushed. It meant leveraging a whole lot of smart people, money, and decades of previous work to get us a vaccine in 9 months. This included previous research, which started in 2003 thanks to SARS CoV 19's cousin, lots of money and resources for scientists around the world, Production started because clinical trials were complete before the government financially supported the effort. And then, although vaccines went through phase one, two, and three, phases were overlapped to remove white space. This is standard practice. High rates of disease in the community unfortunately meant that we didn't have to wait for a minimum number of COVID-19 cases during clinical trials. And then over 150,000 people flooded to participate in the US trials. This couldn't have been done without each and every one of them.
All right, myth number two is that the mRNA somehow changes your DNA.
While it's biologically impossible for messenger RNA, mRNA, to alter DNA, in order for mRNA vaccine to alter someone's DNA, several events would have to occur. First, that the mRNA cannot enter the cell's nucleus where DNA lives. mRNA does not have the secret door code called a nuclear access signal that would allow it to enter. So mRNA vaccines simply can't get into the cell. mRNA can't be converted to DNA. This would require a tool called reverse transcriptase, which the vaccine doesn't have. And mRNA cannot insert itself into the DNA. The mRNA would need a tool called integrase to do this, which the vaccine doesn't have. The biotechnology has never been approved by the FDA before. It's not because the past mRNA vaccines for cancer, allergies, and SARS have been deemed unsafe. It's because past mRNA vaccines haven't been very effective. mRNA breaks down very quickly, so it needs to be transported by something. Finding that something has been a challenge. For COVID-19, scientists found that fat bubbles specifically for COVID-19 worked great.
And that leads me to the third myth, and that is vaccines are not effective.
There's actually 100% efficacy in clinical trials, 16 cases of COVID in placebo and 0 in vaccinated. There were also no severe cases of COVID-19 during the study. Then research also shows the vaccines help avoid long COVID-19 and improve symptoms of those already with long-term COVID-19.
All right, next myth is we do not know the long term side effects of this new vaccine.
Well, we do not know the long-term effects of mRNA COVID-19 vaccines. However, based on our knowledge of mRNA in the human body, we do not expect long-term side effects. Vaccine ingredients are cleared from the body very quickly. mRNA is very fragile and degrades within 72 hours of injection. The fat bubbles, or lipids, leave within days. mRNA vaccines are not made of the actual pathogen. This means that they don't contain weakened, dead, or non-infectious parts of a virus. In the history of vaccines, serious adverse side effects have only popped up in the first 2 months of receiving the vaccine. And individuals who got pregnant after that vaccine had no complications from the vaccine. There are anecdotal reports that women's menstrual cycles change after COVID-19 vaccine. The body is mounting an immune response, and this is likely a side effect, like a fever.
All right, next myth is if you already had COVID 19 as an adolescent, you do not need the vaccine.
Well, while the efficacy of natural immunity is high, adolescents still need the vaccine. Getting a vaccine, even for people who have already recovered from COVID-19, strengthens your immune response, such as your antibody and T cell production. The vaccine better protects against variants of concern, and the immune system is messier from natural infection. It's not as focused as vaccine specific immunity.
All right, and I believe the final myth is there is no need for the vaccine.
Well, there is a need. Adolescents have the highest rate of infection and symptomatic infection compared to adults and children, but hospitalizations are lower than adults. There have been 127 COVID-19 adolescent deaths since the beginning of the pandemic. Although this seems low, death among adolescents is low overall. COVID-19 is a top 10 cause of death for adolescents. There have been 3,742 multiple MIS-C cases since the pandemic, and 21% were among adolescents. The severity of MIS-C is worse for adolescents compared to younger children, and vaccines significantly reduce community transmission.
All right, sure. So, how do we reach anti-vax parents, and how do we reach vaccine hesitant parents, and how do we encourage them to um, get vaccinated?
Well, first off, a very important question to ask is how hesitant the parents are. If the parents are not completely anti vax and are only opposed to the COVID vaccine, then there is room for a discussion where the teen, after being armed with the facts to refute the misconceptions held by the parents, can try to convince them to let them get vaccinated. We suggest finding a time when they're relaxed to have this conversation. As far as the conversation goes, don't fight. Instead, talk to them with emotion as to how the pandemic truly affects you. If that conversation does not work the first time, then you should try involving trusted figures such as doctors, school nurses, science teachers, family friends, and family members in the conversation with parents. Being gently persistent is very important. However, if these steps don't work and the teen still wants to get vaccinated but doesn't have consent, then there are some things that we at Teens for Vaccines can do to help. We can work with them to help them understand the minor consent law in their state, what the health department needs for consent as far as getting the COVID vaccine goes, whether parental consent is needed or not, etc. We also give them phone numbers of local immunization coalitions and contacts for help. If any teens with anti-vax parents are listening right now, please feel free to reach out to us through our website, teensforvaccines.org, and we will help you in any way we can.
Yeah, and what can be done to empower teens to get vaccinated, or what needs to be done to increase teen vaccination rates?
As far as increasing teen vaccination rates goes, education is very important. Spreading information about the vaccine, in addition to COVID in general, is key in encouraging teens to get vaccinated. There's a lot of misinformation traveling around the internet currently, and it's key to tackle this and make sure teens have the information they need to make the most informed decision about getting vaccinated as possible. Starting this education within schools is a good way to connect directly with teens. Presentations, virtual meetings for parents and students regarding information about the vaccine, or even providing safety materials and instruction to students is key in reaching teens and getting them the information they need. It is also important to give teens the resources they need to get vaccinated. For example, holding local vaccine clinics within their communities or even clinics at a school level gives them access to getting the vaccine. It is also key for legislators to allow teens to get vaccinated without parental consent. Many teens do not allow teens to get vaccinated without the permission of a parent, and for teens with vaccine hesitant or anti vax parents, this is key in making sure teens have access to getting vaccinated whenever possible. Lastly, it's very important to give teens a voice. We have opinions about what we can and cannot do with our own bodies, and it is very important to amplify teen voices so we can share our thoughts and opinions, especially when it comes to healthcare related laws and decisions that affect us directly.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. If you wanted to support Teens for Vaccines, or if you wanted to get involved with Teens for Vaccines, how do you do that?
Well, if you want to get involved, please feel free to reach out to me via email at Keira@teensforvaccines.org. You can also contact us through our website, teensforvaccines.org, and fill out a Google form indicating your interest in becoming an ambassador.
All right. And is there any other topic that you want to cover? Anything you feel that would be important?
Well, I feel that it's very important for teens to get the information that they need. Parents, if you're listening, please talk to your teens. They want to be free, they want to be heard, and they want to be part of the conversation about getting vaccinated. And for the teens watching, please get vaccinated because this is our shot at ending the pandemic that has overturned lives globally.
Yeah. And I second what you just said. If you have not yet been vaccinated against COVID-19, please do that right now. It is super easy to make an appointment and get vaccinated. Um, they are pretty much free of charge, and it is very safe and very easy to do. So just want to see if there's any questions or comments in the sideboard chat. Reggio says, think it's great to have people bring information to the uninformed and misinformed. Yes, and I agree. That is why I do what I do, is to help make sure that good information is out there. Um, Anecdotal evidence that it is effective was in close contact with a positive carrier for 3 to 4 hours a day for a couple of days after second dose, never tested positive. So, yeah, the COVID 19 vaccine is very effective. and I strongly recommend everyone get it.
And please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns about the vaccine or would like some information in general. Again, that's at teensforvaccines.org, and we have a contact form on our website.
Yep. Well, with that, I think we got through everything pretty quickly. I know you're a high school student, so I don't want to keep you out too late. So, thank you so much for coming on, and I really appreciate the work that you do. I really appreciate the work that Teens for Vaccines do, and everyone, I really encourage you to go out and support them and support the work that they are doing. And if you like the work that I'm doing, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification down below. And don't forget to hit that like button and feel free to leave a comment to help feed that algorithm. Reggie says, it's great that you and Keira are doing this. I have a kid that's in college and they seem a little underinformed. And yeah, unfortunately, there is a lot of misinformation out there, and misinformation seems to be spreading much faster than real good information, and I find that to be quite tragic. And if you like the work that I'm doing, you can join. You can make a monthly donation through my brand new Patreon, patreon.com/DavidNeff, or you can make a one-time donation via PayPal, Venmo, or through my GoFundMe. A link to them is in the description down below. Thank you all so much for joining me, and have a great evening. We are out.